Hi, I'm Josh Whiteman with Garage Gurus, and today we are going to review and kind of go over this Pokit Pro. It's a multimeter and oscilloscope combo. You can also do some data logging and stuff like that, which doesn't necessarily apply to us in the automotive field all that much. But I personally really like this tool because it's so mobile, it's so easy to use. There's no extra wires or nothing like that. I do a lot of diagnosing for shops in my area, and so it's really convenient for me to be able to pull this out, confirm that we have circuit operation, whatever the case may be. You know, honestly, a lot of diagnostics can be performed with a multimeter as long as you understand how that multimeter actually functions. But there are times in which you'd like a little bit more detail and information about how the circuit is currently operating. So this kind of bridges the gap. If I am working in a shop full-time where I could have a diagnostic cart with maybe a picoscope set up or a full Zeus scope set up, something like that, you know, that's a little bit of a different story. But when I'm trying to get stuff out of the van and back into the van and be as quick and efficient as possible, this tool makes it easy for me, again, to diagnose these circuits efficiently without the whole added, not only expense from some of the picoscope stuff, but also just the space and complexity that's required of it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual tool here. Comes in a nice case. As you can see, it's a pretty simple design. It's almost like a pen. You do have your voltage, amperage settings on the side here if you need to change that. But we can go ahead and remove the cap. You can see the positive lead is actually just the tip of our tool here, and then our negative lead unwinds from the back of the tool. If you're going to be getting this tool to use for an automotive purpose, you probably will want to get the automotive accessory kit that comes along with it. You can definitely use this without it, but as you can see, you're pretty limited to what you're going to be able to do because of the size of these probes right here. You're not really going to be able to back probe anything. A lot of it's going to have to be tested open circuit, which again is not the best, not the most ideal way to diagnose a car. When you get the automotive accessory kit, you can see it's going to come with these adapters that simply plug into the end of your leads. And now that gives us the opportunity to use your traditional banana jack connectors. As you see, they are 600 volt Cat 3 rated, which is pretty nice. Not that we would really be using this for hybrid vehicle diagnostics, but it does mean that the tool will be safe, and so will we. Now that we have the banana jack adapters on there, we can go ahead and use a couple more adapters, which are our male-to-male adapters here. And now that gives us the opportunity to use something like a traditional alligator clip or a traditional back probe. So you're going to be able to use all the accessories that you already have, which is pretty nice to be able to transfer them over seamlessly. All right, all I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and back probe this purge valve circuit. Put my leads in there like I normally would, no different than a normal oscilloscope or meter. Now that I'm all connected here, I'm going to go run into the car and turn the key on. All right, now that we got the key on, I'm going to jump over to my scan tool. I'm already underneath the active tests, specifically the canister purge valve test. I'm going to actually use this scan tool now to simply start the bidirectional controls to command this purge valve on and off. You can see it's now started. It's going to continue to cycle that purge valve open and closed. And now we can jump back over to the vehicle. You might be able to hear that purge valve clicking on and off. I'm going to use my app now on my phone to pair to the actual Pokit Pro, and we'll be able to look at what this oscilloscope capture actually looks like on our phone. So we've got our app opened up. Right now we only have one probe connected to our phone, but as you can see, we could actually have 4 different of these probes connected at once. If you hit the locate button, that will cause your probe to beep so you know which one is which. You can see we have a fully charged battery. So we're going to select this measure button here, and we're going to go ahead and use the oscilloscope function first. And it does take a little bit of learning and a little bit of a trial and error to get this probe to start working in a familiar way to you. It's set up a little bit different than some of the normal automotive oscilloscopes, but we can go ahead and run through it. This 0 line here is showing you the 0 volts, so you can kind of adjust that up and down depending on if you're going to be looking at AC or DC voltage. The menu option lets you switch between multimeter or oscilloscope. That's what we'll use for the most part. You can use it as a waveform generator. I just never had to myself. If you go to the mode section, this is where you can select between volts or amps. You can also select if it's AC or DC voltage. If you're going to select AC voltage, you will need to adjust that switch on the actual probe itself as well. But right now we're going to select the 20 volts. That's good with me. Let me drop down our time to 200 milliseconds per division so we can show you the difference. You can also set your trigger settings a little bit differently, and this is kind of where things differ from a normal scope as well, in my opinion. The force is a little bit different. So the force means that you're going to hit this red button on the bottom, and it's going to capture all this data for the amount of time that you've selected per division. So you can see for this example here, this was the capture that we got based off of our time per division that we have set. Again, if I run it again, you'll get a little bit idea of what this looks like here. So in this instance, it does help a little bit if we add some more time. If we jump over to 1 second, you're going to again see what the difference looks like. If we hit start, it is going to now take 10 seconds to capture this data, which is fine, but you'll just have to sit there and wait a little bit longer. Okay, now you can see we've got our capture here from the past 10 seconds because of the mode that we're using. It does a pretty good job of giving us all the clarity we need. It doesn't do perfect, like something like in a Pico or a Snap-on would. But again, for what we need for this particular job in this circuit, this tells me that the PCM is doing its job. It's pulling it all the way down to ground. We have healthy ground, and you can hear the component clicking. So along with that fact and the fact that you can see this activity, it would be enough for me to say that this circuit's operating in a pretty healthy manner. Now that is going to be the force mode. If we switch over to the free run mode, we can now hit start, and it will continuously update this capture as the time goes across the screen. So again, you can see this activity. It's going to constantly update your scope capture every time the full 10 seconds runs. So in this instance, it probably makes more sense to drop down the time per division a little bit, and that's going to give us a quicker refresh rate on our actual screen. As you can see, there is less time on the screen, so you're not getting as much data in one image, but it's going to update itself more frequently, which is kind of nice depending on what it is that you're going to be testing. You are able to pinch in and pinch out to kind of do your zoom function, so that's nice in terms of a diagnostic perspective and standpoint. So that's our trigger settings. We could also set actual rising and falling edge triggers like you typically would, just depending on what you're wanting to do. But we could also go ahead and jump over to our multimeter. You can see our multimeter is running. It's not giving us a graphed image, but I'm able to see 12 volts when the circuit is off because of that source voltage. And then when the PCM applies ground to the solenoid, you can see that voltage drop down, and you can see that voltage switching back and forth. So depending on what it is you're doing, this may be completely sufficient to get the job done. What I'm also going to be able to show you is the app for an actual Apple Watch, right? There have been times in which I'm trying to diagnose starter relays or whatever the case may be, where I need to have a meter hooked up in the engine bay, but then I have to go into the passenger compartment to turn the key on to see whatever the fuel pump is it getting its command, right? So this will make it a little bit easier for you because you can hook up your probe here, then go jump into the car, cycle the key on, and you'll be able to see the reading straight from your Apple Watch. Okay, so hopefully you're able to see how the tool works and understand its capabilities as well as its limitations. It's not going to necessarily replace any of your scopes for the high-level diagnostics, especially the faster circuits like CAN bus or something like that. But in terms of validating and verifying a circuit and its operation, it does a pretty good job, kind of like a multimeter plus in terms of its functionality. Keep an eye out for these products. They're coming out with an amp clamp as well. That'll be a really nice tool to add to the arsenal if I could easily perform a relative compression test from the passenger seat looking at my phone. That'd be pretty nice. For more information and more training videos like this, go ahead and check us out at garagegurus.tech. I'm Josh Whiteman. Thanks for watching.